This show is made possible by support from Landsharkz.ca. Visit them for all your coin and swag needs at www.landsharkz.ca. And by viewers like you. Thank you for your donations. Fresh from a great season of agility and an incredible concert experience, we're caching again in Jasper National Park. It's time to start Ice and Rye's Geocaching Video Zine. Hi there, and welcome to Ice and Rye's Geocaching Video Zine. I'm Ice and Rye, thanks for watching. If you're new to the show, welcome to the family. What this is myself, my co-host Roxy, and my camera operator Abel. We go caching, film it, throw it together with a few hints, tips, and tricks, upload it to the internet so you can download and watch it to your own leisure. If you're a regular viewer, thanks for sticking around, appreciate your viewership. My website is www.iceandrye.com and my email address is geoiceandrye@iceandrye.com. So, what's new? Well, the big buzz here in Prince George is a couple of weeks ago we had the Blue Man Group come through on their How to Be a Megastar tour. Now, this was actually the second time these guys were in town, and I didn't get a chance to see them the first time through. However, I did catch their performance on HDNet when they played the Megastar DVD that's available out there. And I fell in love with this show, and I knew next time these guys came to town, I had to be there. Well, when the tickets finally came out, I was almost front in line and bought them online, but I wanted to get them as quick as possible, and I was very lucky. I got a ticket in row 1. It was great. I was probably not more than, say, 12 to 15 feet away from the stage. And if you have seen the Blue Man Group in concert before, I was in the wet zone. I got to wear a plastic poncho for the performance as well. Their stand-up drums were directly in front of me, and once they started throwing out the paint, it got a little wet. So any act that not only allows and actually encourages people to bring cameras to the show, how could I resist? With the acquisition of my new little Flip Ultra HD, hey, I had to bring that little sucker. Got some great video, and it's already been up on my YouTube for a couple weeks. Some of you already seen it. If you haven't had a chance yet, I'll have links on the web page. You can go check it out. It was a wonderful, wonderful show. And if the boys in blue come to your town, make sure you grab a ticket. Go check them out. Blue Man Group, the How to Be a Megastar tour. It was awesome. And another part of the show was the opening artist, David Garibaldi. I really cannot describe what this gentleman does. He's a painter, and he paints to the beat of music, but you just have to see it. And I did capture one of his performances, and it's also up there, and make sure you check it out. These guys are great, so when they come to your town, check them out. In other news, well, caching season has sort of finally started for me here in Prince George. With the ending of agility season, I'm starting to get more free time on the weekends. I'm not as training as much, and I'm not busy every weekend driving somewhere to compete with Abel. So I have been doing a ton of caching. And strangely enough, that's what the next couple episodes are going to be about. This particular episode, we're going to take a look at some of the footage I shot when I went caching in Jasper. Parks Canada has finally started to re-allow caching in the national parks, and they came up with some fairly stringent rules, but nothing too crazy, and it's actually very, very well done. And the rules themselves were co-written with a lot of the provincial geocaching bodies, so they're really well written, and it is great to be caching in our national parks again. Also, I've attended a pair of cache and release events. One was a couple hours south of here in Williams Lake, and another one was right here in the Prince George area, where we launched 20 new caches in one day, and it was a blast. Of course, the thing about the cache and release events is we had it set up so the caches weren't actually publicized before the event. So you would show up at the event, you get a sheet of paper with 20 coordinates on it that you manually enter into your GPS. And so it took a while for us to get going, but boy do we have a lot of fun at both events. And I got footage from both, and I'll be featuring that in an upcoming episode of the video podcast. But as for this episode, oh man, I got some footage in Jasper, and it just felt so great to be caching in the national park again. Parks Canada, thank you for allowing our great sport in the national parks. So I'm going to skip a couple segments here. We're just going to roll straight into the main event. So ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Back in Canada's national parks, caching. Caching footage from Jasper, Alberta.
Hey there. Here I am, I'm driving down the highway talking into my flip video camera. Yeah, that's a little crazy. So ignore me if I'm not looking directly into the lens and I'm keeping my eye on the road. But there's one thing I absolutely love about the drive to Jasper. And that's when you approach the Mount Terry Fox rest stop. You come around a big, huge corner, and then wham bam, right in front of you is a solid rock wall, better known as Mount Robson. And for those of you who don't know, Mount Robson is the highest peak in the Canadian Rockies. Actually, I've already gone around the corner. I'm headed in a straight line to Mount Robson. And, well, this is what the view looks like. I guess I'll turn the camera back on me before we come up the traffic. And I kind of wonder why this guy's holding the camera. Oh, looks like this car looks fast. It was just a Corvette. No big deal. But anyways, back to Mount Robson. Now, the great thing about Robson is it's very rare that the top is not covered by clouds. And I've been lucky. Most of the time I come by here, I usually get a clear view. And unfortunately, as you can see, the top portion of the mountain is completely engulfed in clouds, so you really can't see all the glaciers and the peak up there. But truly is a beautiful sight. So, about to go around a corner here, and Mount Robson will fade out of view. And, well, that's all I wanted to say for now. Catch up with you later. So I'm sitting on a picnic site along the shores of the lovely Athabasca River here on the Icefields Parkway that connects Jasper to the north and Lake Louise down to the south. Now traditionally when I'm driving on this highway, I'm usually on my way to Calgary to go visit with friends there, and I just zip past everything. This weekend, it's a free weekend. I'm dedicating pretty much the entire weekend to just cruising back and forth between Banff and Jasper and doing a little caching along the way. Now I just found a cache here. It's called a Mount Christie cache. Beautiful spot. And believe it, in over 20 years of driving along this highway, I have never stopped at this spot before. Unbelievable. I always say that's one of the great things about caching, is that it gets you places you've never been before. So, got the Canon with me, the SLR, and I'm going to take some pictures, but this spot is beautiful, so I want to let the whole world know where exactly this spot is. So of course I'm going to geotag my pictures. Now, I've done many tutorials on geotagging. You can go back in the older episodes. As a matter of fact, check out this episode right down here. And you'll see a nice tutorial on how to geotag. But the most important thing, and the part I always forget about geotagging, is getting the time on the GPS receiver and the time on the camera coordinated. See, the GPS has an atomic clock, so it's pretty much always the correct time. Even though I'm looking at it, still for some reason thinks it's BC, so it doesn't automatically set time zones. So I'll have to let it know that I'm in Alberta now, not in BC, and that it's actually 12 noon, not 11 in the morning. But I will coordinate it, match it up with the time on the camera, so when I eventually get home, I'll be able to download the track file from the GPS, and my geotagging program will be able to match timestamps on the images with the timestamp on the track file and let me know exactly where the pictures were taken. The sun's going into a cloud here, so I'm just going to hang out for another couple minutes, wait for the sun to come out and light up the mountains behind me. But it is absolutely beautiful, and I am so glad Parks Canada finally got their act together and started allowing caching back in our national parks, because it really deserves it here. Alright, well, I'm going to take some pictures, so I'm going to head back out on the road. So the next cache along the Iceville Highway we're looking for is called Bubbling Springs. And I found the attraction of the area. There's quicksand actually just in front of me, behind the camera. Rather interesting sight to see. There's this little pond, and you can see the sand below it actually moving and air coming up through the sand. It looks pretty cool. Now, as for the actual cache, well, it's near a picnic table, and unfortunately there's someone having a rather elaborate picnic right there. So I'm going to go back. I may have to introduce these people to the sport, or I just may pass on this one and get it when I'm heading back to the campsite northbound. But I'll let you know how it goes.
So welcome back to the studio. We're going to get right back into the Jasper footage in just a minute or so. But this time, I just want to thank show sponsor Landsharkz at landsharkz.ca. And the coin I'm all excited about right now is called the Utah Rocks coin. And it's all for those great cachers down in the awesome state of Utah. Check it out, the Utah Rocks coin at landsharkz.ca. And again, guys, thanks for your continuation support of this video podcast. However, let's get back to caching. Let's head back to Jasper and see how things are going.
Part of the joy of traveling, road construction. We're just stopped here on the Icefield Highway. They appear to be doing a little blasting up ahead. So we're in a long line of traffic. Things are starting to move now. And I'm going to keep this camera rolling as we go by, and we'll see what they're blowing up. Few rocks here and a few rocks there. So we're continuing on with caching here in Jasper Park and outlying areas, and for those of you looking for an update, I never did get back to the Bubbling Springs. I ended up driving down to Banff, and downtown Banff was crazy. Holy cow, here we are in the middle of September and tourism's still popular. So I didn't actually get to do much caching in Banff. I found a couple out near Canmore and then came back. By the time I came back, it was a little late last night. But here we are, day 2 of caching in the parking area. And today I'm going to bag some around the actual Jasper town site. And then I'm going to head out east towards Hinton and Edson, because I know there's tons of them out there also. So this morning I'm starting off with a cache called Ukrainian Internment Camp, and this is a fairly unknown piece of Canadian history. The Americans are well known for their internment of the Japanese during World War II. Well, we did a similar thing with Ukrainians and Eastern Europeans during World War I, and this spot marks the location of the camp. There's a nice little plaque here, a little bit of a memorial, and you know, unfortunately I love this country, but we do have a few black eyes, and this is one of them. So, we found the cache, signed the log, and now we're going to carry on and see what else is available here in Jasper.
So there you go, a little bit of footage of caching in Jasper. Have I said it yet? Man, it is great to be caching in the parks again. So, got a little bit more footage left to go, but to see it, you're going to have to come back for a future episode of Ice and Rise Geocaching Video Scene. So, just before we wrap her up, a couple quick notes. Again, thank you to the show sponsors landsharkz.ca. Make sure you visit them, check out the Utah Rocks coin. And also, I want to thank the financial contributors to the podcast. Folks, I could not do this show without your contributions. And if you'd like to contribute to the show, just visit my website at iceandrise.com, click on the PayPal links, and everything else will take care of itself. So, in the meantime, in between time, that's it. Another episode of Ice and Rise Geocaching Video Zine. So until the next episode, cache on.